with the Fef.
I'm in.
As long as I can throw a bowling ball down the lane, let's go.
More bowling stories.
I feel like I still have some years left in me.
Wow.
Every week.
This is bowling's heritage right here.
Live.
We're not playing how. We're playing how many.
Assert your dominance with the Packers.
I don't think there could have been too many better people than you yourself.
You know, Cleveland's not a state, right?
Yes.
Governors, as we know, is not a
Let's
state.
do this. This is Bowling with the Fef.
Well, hey, good evening, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Bowling with the Fef, a platform for you to share your unique bowling story live on our YouTube channel. A great one for you tonight. Can't wait to chop it up with our special guest. I want to get into a few things first, starting with the USBC Masters, which is in process right now. They're in their 12th game, I should say 13th game now of qualifying on the final squad, the B squad. And as it stands right now, it's an A squad gentleman, Eric Jones, who's got the lead. He is at plus 592, just 11 sticks above Dio Bernard, Graham Fa in third place right now. And then, of course, you've got 64 bowlers advancing. Right now, the number is plus 266, and that's Frank Snodgrass with Brandon Runk just a pin out. Mr. Snodgrass is actually tied with Tyrell Ignalls at 266. So it'll be interesting to see how that thing shakes out ahead of the show on Sunday. Of course, 3 p.m. Wisconsin time on the CW is when you can see the finals of the USBC Masters. Meanwhile, Marshall Kent helped set 2 PBA Tour records en route to a win over Boog Kroll in the PBA Indiana Classic. He ran a string of strikes through the later frames of the championship match after a tough start, we'll say, to win 152-136 in Fort Wayne Sunday for the $30,000 first prize. It's his 8th career title. The 152 was the lowest winning score in a PBA Tour championship match ever. And the 288 combined score between the two of them, also lowest for a tour title match. The late Dennis Jakes had both previous records, but they were set in separate tournaments in 1983. Well, we've got some big-time live college competition returning to the channel in just 2 days. For the second consecutive season, Bowling with the Fef is where you can catch the Collegiate Club National Championships in Rockford, Illinois. Top-ranked club programs sending their teams to Don Carter Lanes, making their way through a match play bracket to determine men's and women's national champions. It was UW Whitewater and Co. winning the top prize last season on the men's and women's side, respectively. Who's taking it all this year? Check out the live stream coming up Saturday and Sunday this weekend to find out. And don't forget, we do have an Etsy store, etsy.com/shop/bowlingwiththefefco, t-shirts and hoodies. We've got a bunch of new designs on there for you. Check them out. Thanks to these Bowling with the Fef partners. Bullwinkles on North Claremont Avenue in Eau Claire, Wisconsin. Leagues and tournaments for all skill levels on 24 synthetic lanes. Enjoy bowling, grab some Toppers Pizza, a cocktail or two, check out the arcade, Trivia Mondays, and more.
I'm looking forward to the Winkles Weekend Classic coming up in April.
Oh yeah, Randy, we are too. It's a flighted scratch tournament where you bowl against others of a similar skill level, plus a sponsored dinner, side action, and more. This first-time event is April 11th and 12th. Call 715-552-0565 for more information or register at bullwinklesbowling.com.
Bullwinkles is proud to be the official bowling center of Bowling with the Fef. Come check us out on Eau Claire's west side or visit us at www.bullwinklesbowling.com.
Chip Magnet Salsa, raise your snack standards. Go to chipmagnetsalsa.com and enter promo code BWTF2026 at checkout to score 25% off a purchase of $30 or more. Jerry's Score More Pro Shop. Call Jerry at 715-559-1822 for all your bowling needs. And Visionary Video Hub, video production plus live streaming, podcasting, and voiceover. Find out more at visionaryvideohub.com. Well, Minnesota is getting a pile of PBA events coming up at the end of next month. It's an exciting time. Each of the events has a televised component on CBS Sports Network. And I will be out there for both the PBA World Series of Bowling and the PBA 50 World Series of Bowling. You get the animal pattern events on the PBA side. May 9th through 12th is when you can see those on TV. At the times listed on your screen. Again, CBS Sports Network is the place for the semifinals and finals. All televised events are at Lucky Strike Lakeville, and the PBA Tour qualifying is going on at Bolero Brooklyn Park. Then you've got the PBA 50 World Series of Bowling in its entirety. You've got the Ballard Championship, 2 p.m. May 9th on television, followed by the PBA 50 Monticelli Championship, PBA 50 Petraglia Championship, and then the granddaddy of them all, the PBA 50 World Championship, to be decided May 12th, again at Lucky Strike Lakeville. So a lot of cool stuff happening in Minnesota. I will be there for it, and so will our guest tonight, the great Charlie Tapp, who is joining us from Kalamazoo. Charlie, welcome back to the show. It's great to have you.
Thanks, Beth. Great to be here.
I love.
So I get to find my way around Minnesota again for a while.
Yeah, it's super exciting, and I love how you kind of preceded this show when I asked you for a photo of yourself, and you gave me this little number.
Look at that haircut.
Tell me about.
I gotta be shot.
Yeah.
That was at the ABC in 1965 in St. Paul.
Okay.
And it's I cropped out the other guys that were in the photo, but anyway, that day, so it was snowing like crazy, and I had this it was like a local advertising paper that I would deliver to these apartment buildings and stuff like that, and there were like 350 of them, and snow like hell. I got a bowl, I got a cold, and I picked the papers up, and I'm like, you know what, I got a bowl, and it's it snowed like a foot. So what I did is I took them into the apartment building where they dropped them off and put them in the incinerator, and then went home. So nobody got their bargains. They didn't see, fish on sale for 59 cents a pound or whatever the hell it was, So anyway, I got home and my mom goes, "Hey," she goes, "What? You got home a little fast, didn't you?" I goes, "Oh yeah, yeah, I did." Yes, I did. She goes, "Well," and then my aunt picked us up and took us down to the St. Paul Auditorium, and that's where they had the tournament. It was so funny, and I was just this fat little kid, bouncing around with these newspapers, and then I went and I bowled, and it's the only time my mom ever saw me bowl.
Oh,
it's crazy. Yeah, that was the only tournament she'd ever went to. And then she says to me, she goes, she says, for a husky kid, instead of saying for being a fat tub of shit, for a husky kid, you're both pretty good. So, but anyway,
is that when you thought
that was all that day.
Yeah, if the thing doesn't work out, I'll try this bowling thing for good.
Sure, yeah. And it wasn't the first time I delivered newspapers either, but that's beside the point. So, but anyway, it was fun.
Yeah. We've got my friend and yours, Dana Wright, saying good evening, Pfeff.
Hello. Oh yeah, Dana. Yeah, keep me away from him.
Yeah, no, he's a see you soon, and I'll see you soon too, because that PBA 50 World Series coming to the Minneapolis area. You do all the qualifying at AMF Southtown and Bloomington, and then the finals at Lucky Strike Lakeville. That's got to be pretty exciting. Oh
yeah, it is. It really is. I mean, I haven't been home for I don't know how many years now, but Marlis and I were there. When they had the 28 inches of snow on Halloween.
Oh.
So back in 91, my cousin passed away, and we were going to his funeral, and I mean, we got to Hudson, Wisconsin, and you couldn't see 2 feet in front of you. She goes, "This is Halloween." I don't know, but by the time we stayed in Woodbury, And by the time we got there, I mean, it was just, it was incredible.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, we were there then. And then I think we've only been there maybe once or twice. Oh, geez, it's probably 20 years at least.
Wow.
Something like that. So I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah.
So, and Southtown, I'm familiar with that area because the auto parts place I used to work is, well, it's probably not there anymore. It was on 76th and Lindale, which is right up from Southtown, like barely a mile.
Yeah.
So I'm familiar with that area, and yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Get to see a lot of my relatives and my nieces and nephews and my godson and that. And so yeah, I'm really excited about getting there.
Yeah, for sure. You've been bowling these PBA 50 events for a while, and this is the 4th iteration of the World Series of Bowling on the 50 side. What's it like?
Well, it's really kind of different. It's like you're bowling 4 tournaments to get to one other tournament. So every shot, even though you might have one bad tournament on the first pattern, you got to make sure you stay close because at the end is where they add everything up, and then to get to the World Championship, you've got to do well in all these other tournaments. It's fun. It's a lot of fun. It's different. It's a whole different. It's a whole different type of thing. And so it's a little more challenging because you have 4 different tournaments and 4 different patterns, and then you got the World Championship, which has got a different pattern again. And like this is the first time. This is the first time where the seniors are going to have a show. Where the senior is going to have a show for every tournament.
Yeah.
So that's really exciting too.
Sure.
So yeah, it's a lot of fun. Like last year, they had it here in Jackson, which is I work there. So it's kind of just up the road. So I got to stay at home and not have to sleep in a hotel or anything. So, but this here is going to be worth the trip because I'll be able to get to see a lot of old friends and some of the kids I graduated with and my relatives and so on.
Sure. I'm here. You can probably hear me. I just, for some reason, my camera disconnected.
Yeah. I just see a dot with a fake guy in it.
Yeah. Well, that's me.
Yeah. Well, that does look like you.
I swear it's me. What are you going to do?
Yeah, exactly.
Technical issues, they happen. So yeah, I'm going to try and correct this on the fly while I keep talking to you about the 50 tour. Like I said, it's been a while. What keeps you coming back?
Well, that's an extremely good question. But actually, I'm probably bowling better now than I have 10 years ago.
Oh.
And I don't know, and I'm not really, well, I work a lot harder at it now than I have before because you have to. Okay. And, with coaching, and what's kept me into it was coaching college, and learning from that. And, and I work for Andy's Pro Shop at Jack 60. Oh. And he's probably one of the best instructors in the country. I put him up against anybody, and just the expertise and what I learn out of there, and okay, this is what I'm capable of. This is I can't do this, but I can do this, and so that's what I've been working on, and that's what I've been staying with, and it seems to have worked. I had a really good year last year. And I think I'm probably playing better now than I did then. Oh. So I'm just going to keep going. Yeah. I mean, there's, knock on wood. I mean, physically I've been okay. I got 75-year-old guy back issues and a little bit of arthritis here and there, but we all do. So yeah, I just keep plugging away at it, and and the more I learn, I won't say the easier it gets. But the smarter you can be, and to where you don't have to be as good physically, but if you can be smart and sorry about that. Smart and see what's going on, and anticipate the moves, and pick the right equipment and things like that, and it gives you an advantage.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, there's not too many other guys that are 74 that are stupid enough to go out there and bowl. So so there's something to do it that way too,
Yeah. I mean,
but I still enjoy it. I mean, a lot of my friends are still there. We have a riot. I mean, everybody's going out there to win. You're still going out there to beat the other guy's brains out. Yeah. But when you're done, you all sit around and shoot the breeze, and go out to eat and drink together or whatever, and it's a lot of fun. And then just the new guys that come out, they see that it's how much different it is than the regular tour. I mean, guys my age that are still there, like Tommy Baker and a few of the other guys. We all hang around together, but we have just as much as fun as we did when we were in our 20s and 30s.
And that's what I was going to ask you, because you've got so many stories of the times, off the lanes with the
yeah.
And I'm wondering, if you can kind of take us inside. Is it like that on the 50 versus the times that you had?
Well, it's a little bit different because just times have changed so much.
Yeah.
And then you could get away with, screwing around with a guy and busting his chops, and nobody had these like it is now, where everybody's so sensitive. I mean, and guys still remember, like Hutch and I and Tommy and all the other guys that we hung around with. I mean, we busted each other's chops all the time. Yeah. And the other guys would jump in, and I mean, that's what it was like. And everybody hung around together. Yeah. And then when the tour started changing in the 90s, a lot of that went away. And I don't know if it's because, the personalities were different, obviously, and the guys were younger, and they couldn't relate to what we had, that the 70s and 80s were the heyday of the tour.
Sure.
And we had so many guys out there that were bowling. We had 200 guys that were touring rabbits. Yeah. And it's just, it was, and the personalities of some of the guys are just, they came and went, but you got to, some of my best friends are guys that were on tour maybe 2 years, 3 years. We talk all the time. None of them bowl anymore, and stuff like that. But they families and everything, and you still keep in touch with all these guys. And it's really a lot of fun. And the senior tour is a little bit more like that. And I think when some of these guys come out, the first probably 5 or 6 years that you're on the senior tour, I won't say it's easy, but it's easier because of what you just came from. Sure. You're not competing against, you're 50 now, and the guys that were, the guys that you were losing to because you're 50 or late 40s, they're not there anymore.
Right.
You got guys that are older and not as experienced and things like that. So that 4 or 5 year stretch is like, hey, you're on top of the world, but anyway, that catches up to you too.
Yeah.
I mean, it's they just don't fall like they did 20 years ago or even 10 years ago.
Sure.
So the guys where they're, unfortunately their health goes bad, or they threw out a hip or they bust a knee, or they're done. Yeah. They're done because they just can't compete. And again, not like knock on wood, I've been lucky. I haven't really had much of that.
Sure.
So, and of course, I'll probably go out tomorrow and fall over the curb or something and bash my head open. And,
don't do that.
That is still ain't gonna stop me.
We're gonna have to wrap you in a bubble until.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'll be the old bubble guy.
you mentioned the fact that, okay, you make your way to the 50 and then a lot of those younger guys aren't there anymore. And that's true, but eventually they do get there. And the one that is going to get there in the next, I don't know, few years, 5 years, is Jason Belmonte, right? At least he'll be.
I would imagine.
Yeah,
I would imagine.
What
it'd be good for the 50 tour.
Yeah,
I might be a soil additive by then, but so, but yeah, I mean, but realistically, it helps the tour.
Yeah,
I mean, it'll help that tour. Like right now, like Tom Doherty is out, and I'm not sure who else is. I don't know who else is coming out this year, if anybody. I think this is kind of a light season for somebody to come out.
Okay.
Just because of the ages, but maybe Mike Machuga. I don't know if he's going to bowl or not. But
okay.
But there's another guy that's talented as hell.
Yeah.
Sure. So, but yeah, I'm not sure who's coming out this year, but yeah, I mean, it'll just keep going, and once those guys get there, it probably be pretty good.
Yeah.
I don't know what obviously we've got a little bit, we got TV now, but I mean the prize funds haven't gained anything, and that's a little bit, that's why why this tour is down a little bit. There's not enough money, and guys are getting older.
Sure.
They're only going to stay for so long, and there's no money, and so
right.
But still, I mean, it's still a lot of fun. I mean,
one of the coolest things I think about the senior tour, and I think a lot of people would agree, is those events at the Bud Moore house. Have you gotten to kind of peek around in there? Can you kind of tell?
Well, I haven't been there.
No?
But last year was the first year I bowled it. It was just because of logistics and all that stuff. But like I'll go back again this year, and I'll go to the house. I'll go to the house this year. It was just like we had when we got done there. I can't remember where we were going. There was a regional or something, or I can't remember what it was. But anyway, so yeah, I didn't get a chance to go there, but I'm going to go this year.
Okay.
So, but I mean, he's that whole thing is phenomenal.
I
mean, the way he puts on the tournament, and I mean, he just loves doing that. And I mean, you can't be treated much better. And you go over there just about any time, I guess, that you want. So
that's cool.
So we're gonna make a trip over there for sure this year.
Awesome. Well, you get to Minnesota right after a very important happening, not only in bowling, but in your family. Marla is going to be a USBC Hall of Famer. She gets inducted right before the 50 World Series. Yeah, we go there. We're driving. Excuse me. We're driving to Minneapolis. We're driving to Minneapolis, and then flying out of Minneapolis to Reno. Okay. And then she gets inducted on the 29th, and then we fly back on the 30th, and then we're there for hopefully 2 weeks. Okay. So, but yeah, I mean, I couldn't be prouder. She's had these titles for so long, and there's a lot of questions as to why somebody with 4 Eagles is not in the Hall of Fame yet. Yeah. When people with one or two, that haven't done quite as much have been getting in. Yeah. And so when we found out this year, and Bo Gordon, who also bowls on the senior tour, he's part of the Hall of Fame committee, and Johnny Campos, and when I ran into them and talked to them, they told me the story about how that came about. That Chad Murphy had stepped up and said, "Listen, there's people here that should have been in a long time ago that aren't." Sure. And so that's how all this came about. Yeah. So this probably should have happened a long time ago. Oh yeah. But for many years you could nominate somebody, and then it would go to a committee. Well, then they stopped the nomination thing, and they just put together a Hall of Fame committee, and that's been that way for, I'm just guessing, but I think it's at least 3 or 4 years. Okay.
that they did it that way. But then finally this year she got in, and I mean, I'm so happy for her. And she goes, "Do I have to give a speech?" And I go, "Yeah." I said, "You do." So what am I going to say? I said, "Well, I said you just tell stories."
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's going to be a video of all your accomplishments and all the other stuff, and you don't want to stand up there and say the same stuff that they just said. I go, "Tell stories. You got all kinds of stories." I said, "If you don't," I said, "I'll make some up for you." Why not? But yeah, I mean, I said, just do that. I said, thank the people that you need to thank.
Mm-hmm.
Tell a couple stories. Your people love that stuff, and that's it. I said, next thing you know, it'll be done. And you're like, what happened? It seemed like it was going to be like, and all of a sudden it's done.
Yeah. Things
So,
go fast.
But yeah, I'm really happy for her. I'm really proud of her because she bowled really, really well.
Yeah. You mentioned the 4 Eagles in a span of 8 years.
Yeah.
That's remarkable.
Yeah. That team was phenomenal.
Yeah.
The first year she won, it was with Nikki Janulius, Elaine Blamenberg, Missy Howard, and Becky Cregling.
Okay.
And they actually tied. They actually tied with one other team. Well, then a couple of years later, she got asked by Wendy to join them, the high roller team, and they had 3 really obviously really good years. Every other year, they set records and all kinds of stuff. So they were the best team, best women's team probably in the world at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it was something to really be proud of.
Yeah.
So,
Now with being married to PBA champion like she is, do you get to kind of sit back there and be like the de facto ball rep or anything like that, or does she just do what she does?
Well, I was, and then when she get mad at me, I go outside and have a cigarette or something. But yeah, I mean, yeah, kind of, but it was. It was a little bit, different, when she bowled on tour, because that was in the mid to late '80s and early '90s, and so things were a lot different, and there weren't as many bowling balls, and it was a little bit easier from that standpoint. But you had girls that excuse me, were Hall of Fame caliber girls that you're bowling against, and you've never won. So this is going to be, a learning process, and the biggest difficulty was, this is what, I know this is what you're doing, but this is what you need to do, and nobody's comfortable getting out of their comfort zone.
Right.
And and that's what and I explained to her, that's what the hardest part about this is.
Mm-hmm.
Is that anybody, if you want to stand on the big dot and throw it up 12, anybody can do that.
Right.
But when you have to move inside 20, or you have to play the gutter, you got to go where the strikes are.
Right.
One day all the strikes are over here, the next day they're over here. And you've got to figure that out.
Yeah.
Or get your feet in the right place to do that stuff. Yeah, so that was a learning process, but she had such a good support group with that team. Wendy and Carol Giannotti and Jill Albrecht and Gina Derezewski. You know them obviously.
Yeah.
Being there from Wisconsin.
Cool.
I mean, that was just a great team. Holy mackerel!
For sure.
So, but yeah, going on tour with her was a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
And she learned a lot of stuff coming out and just watching, because she was a good athlete. I mean, she played softball and volleyball in college, and so she was a really good athlete.
Yeah.
And watching her bowl, I mean, she probably never fell out of a shot in 15 years. I don't know. It was crazy, And she would bowl local tournaments here. Oh, and it was a bloodbath.
Yeah.
It just how good she was. So, but she's in the Hall of Fame here. She's in State Hall of Fame and now the National Hall of Fame. So,
yeah. And well deserved.
Can't get much further than that.
Yeah, for sure. Congratulations to her.
And, yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's really cool. You mentioned the whole thing about, stand on the big dot, throw it over 10, league bowlers do that and stuff like that. And this week there's been a lot of conversation about that kind of thing and comparing that to what we see on TV with the PBA Tour, especially with this championship match that, was the lowest total score all time, lowest score to win a championship. And it's, you try and get out ahead of it, right? You say,
sure,
okay, you saw that on TV, but if you're rolling 152 at your local center, it's not the same thing, but it's hard, right? It's hard.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's not what the casual observer's eyes tell them.
Yeah. You've got a totally different environment.
Yeah.
Totally different environment, totally different, everything's different. You got all the people around you. It's hotter. They try to lay the same pattern out. But what happens? There's, especially like in the '80s. You would bowl a tournament and they were brutal, and then you get on TV and they were like they were blocked.
Yeah. And
then you'd bowl somewhere where the scores are really high. You get on TV, and it was terrible. Somebody's going to win with 190. But what happened here, I don't know exactly what happened here, but it's just the lane just blew open.
Mm-hmm.
It blew wide open, and the angles that they were playing through the week were so steep.
Yeah.
Marshall, he had it figured out pretty damn good.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden, he had hang to the right and hook to the left, and Boog, I don't think, did himself any favors to try to use that urethane ball.
Sure.
That ball never responded. And then all of a sudden he switches to a reactive ball, and he moved in, and he never got steep enough to get it to the point where, and all of a sudden it's like this.
Yeah.
And that's a hopeless feeling. Oh my God.
Oh yeah.
And so, so when somebody, like what you're explaining, when somebody said, well, I can go bowl 130. Well, yeah, sure you can.
Mm-hmm.
But not going with, Boog bowled his ass off. To get to the lead and everything else, and it's, and it's a shame that it turns out that way. But you don't have any control over it.
No.
You don't know what's going down. You don't know what's going down at what's happening at the other end of the lane. Because there's lights and it's different, and it's, who knows? They just, it was lucky. Actually, it was lucky that, that it was 156 to 130.
Sure.
The way it was going.
Yeah.
Marshall made a really good ball change, and he got that triple. When he got that triple, it was over.
Right.
Because Boog's not going to do anything from there.
Mm-hmm.
How was he going to get a strike? He hadn't had a strike in 7 frames.
Yeah.
It's like when you bowl a tournament, you got 80 in the 7th or some stupid thing. Well, if I strike this out for 200, how the hell are you going to get? You can't get a strike. How are you going to strike? How are you going to get 5 in a row when you haven't had a strike in a month and a half? So yeah, it's a helpless feeling.
Yeah,
it really is. So, but
what's your take on the new telecasts on the CW? It's a different thing, graphical look, different announcers. I don't know how much that plays into your opinions on things, but it does for a lot of people.
Yeah, it does. Well, you got to give them a chance.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is that the announcer, is his first. What's his first name?
Rick Allen.
Rick Allen, yeah. So he came from NASCAR, but he loves bowling.
Yep.
He loves bowling, and I'm sure that he knows. I'm sure he knows by now that I need to figure this out.
Sure.
Because you don't want to go out every week and get criticized because you made a mistake.
Right.
Bo Burton made plenty of mistakes, and he was there for 25 years.
Yeah.
And you're only 4 shows in.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Kyle's doing a pretty good job.
Yeah.
And it's going to take them a little bit.
Yeah.
And the production looks pretty good. It's just got to give it a chance. It's just real. It's just raw. It's just raw right now.
But they got the great performance out of Brandon Bonta to start things off.
Oh yeah,
they've got
that's pretty good.
The great stuff with Simonson, 7-10ing to lose the championship match and then winning right after. There's just a lot of great storylines here, and for that part of it, I mean, there are going to be mistakes. It's live television. People make mistakes.
Bowlers for the most part are their own worst enemy.
Oh yeah.
There's always, no matter what, there's just a lot of criticism.
Yep.
And the better you get and the more success you have, the more criticism you get. Just in general, I suppose you see it in golf a little bit, but not like bowling.
Yeah.
Not like bowling. Because there's recreational bowling, there's competitive bowling, and there's pro bowl. It's like back in the day when you had the PBA, and they had a lot of high roller tournaments.
Sure.
It's still bowling, but those are two completely different worlds.
Yeah.
The high roller stuff, those are sprints. PBAs are marathons, and if you crossed them over, there'd be probably a lot of really good PBA bowlers that wouldn't do so hot in high roller tournaments, and vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just because that's just what it is. But you get open to criticism.
Yeah.
And the better you get, the more that happens. And I think bowlers for the most part are their own worst enemy.
Mm-hmm.
They got to be protected from themselves.
Sure.
It's like there's a little battle going on Facebook between a couple of guys about some of the technological stuff. And,
you're talking about J.R. Raymond and Rick Benoit.
Yeah, Rick Benoit. Yeah. And you read all that stuff, and if you're, that doesn't do anybody any good. They're both right to a degree, and they're both kind of arguing about the same thing. It's just how one explains it versus the other.
Yeah.
And I understand Rick because I've taken Bowl U classes and and use a lot of that stuff that he teaches. Because it's good and it's correct. But there's stuff that JR says too that's correct.
Sure. Yeah.
And so, but this here with them arguing, and then when you see the people coming in and making comments and stuff like that, that doesn't do anybody any good.
No.
And there's always somebody smarter out there, and this is wrong. This is
Yeah.
So, but that's I don't know of any other sport that has that problem.
Sure. But in the grand scheme of things, and again, we're coming off of a season that went, that took us from Fox to the CW on the PBA side. We're, in the midst of this, strange, this strange period where urethane is okay in some venues and some arenas and not in others, and all this other stuff. How big a deal is that, us not being able to get out of our own way versus some of those other problems that maybe relate a little more to dollars and cents and things like that?
Yeah, well, we've been talking about that a lot. The technology. A lot of the like Mo Pinnell. They would have the technology ready for what was going to change.
Yeah.
They would have that ready. And either take the urethane and ban it completely,
mm-hmm.
or and call it a day, or but I think the PBA and USBC and the world organizations, whatever they are, it looks like they're all trying to clean house with the whole thing, but I don't know. It's a tough call. Geez, it just, but I can. And what's really screwy is that when in the 70s and 80s, everybody was using plastic and rubber.
Right.
So then it went to urethane. So they went from plastic to urethane, and then now they're going from urethane to plastic. And everybody, all the guys that are killing them at the Masters, they're using sanded plastic.
Yep.
And it's just, holy shit. It's just, what the hell are you doing? I mean, there's so much oil on the lane now.
Yeah.
And it's, I don't know. Holy crap. They got to trick everything up, and it's just, yeah.
It's strange.
I mean, Ryan Schaefer made a good point on Facebook. About talking about guys that they don't have touch. And it's because of the way the lanes are, and because there's all this oil on there. There's all this oil, and they start too far to the left, and they blow everything out. The guys on the right and the left hand, I mean, holy shit, it's gotten stupid.
Yeah.
It's really gotten stupid. I mean, you really have to put out a pattern and then put a speed bump like every 5 feet. And God bless Nick Hoagland, because he works his ass off, on these patterns and stuff like that. I mean, he's, him and Janowitz are two smartest guys in the world.
Right.
And they're trying to get this figured out, but I don't know. I'm no scientist or chemist or any of that other stuff. So God bless them. Good luck to you.
Right. Because the bowling balls are only becoming stronger and stronger. And they've got
the thing about it is that what people don't realize is, for the most part, PBA guys don't use those big strong balls for the most part. I mean, you'll see them once in a while. But for the most part, you don't see them.
Sure.
You might see them on a fresh shot for a game and a half, maybe sometimes a half a game, because you got to put them away because they eat all the oil off the lane.
Yep.
And so everybody that's out there bowling is combating. You're combating something. All the time. And the person that figures it out is the guy that wins.
Here's an interesting question. So this is from Lane Vault. What's the argument in support of banning balls because it changes the intent of the pattern? So, like you mentioned, the pattern is one way. The guys bring out the big vacuum cleaners, the strong bowling balls with the surface and all that. It eats it all up, and the intent of the pattern is gone.
Yeah, but the pattern, no matter what you throw, the pattern changes.
Yeah.
It's going to change no matter what. Sure. Yeah, it's just a matter of how it changes.
Yeah.
I mean, you see that in league now.
Yep.
You see that in league. I mean, guys are, the pattern's like this. It's a top hat or whatever. Throw it to the right. You got all the friction you want.
Mm-hmm.
But you got a high rev rate guys with sandblasted balls playing 20 during league, or else you got some other knucklehead throwing a urethane ball on a 43-foot house pattern. What the hell's wrong with you? Really, what the hell's wrong with you? That's, the guys in there, like what the lane balls is saying. There's a defined, I'm just talking about a house shot now. There's a defined place to throw it.
Mm-hmm.
Throw it there.
Yeah.
Now, get your feet in the right place and throw it there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's, you can get into a lot of things with this, but a lot of this is it's education.
Yeah.
It's education. I mean, the way that there's so many good instructors, and you got Kegel Training Center, and you got TurboTech, and and all these places, but people don't want to take lessons.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say everybody. I'm not talking about everybody. But if you went to a golf course, people want to go pay Pebble Beach for $500 or, whatever the hell it costs, or it's $1,500 now, I guess. But anyway, they want to go play Pebble Beach and they can't hit the ball out of their shadow. Oh yeah, let's go play the tips at Pebble Beach. Oh, well, hey, let's go bowl this tournament. They got a modified house shot. Go to hell, I ain't gonna bowl that shit. That's that's what it is. It's like, what's wrong with you? What's the matter with you?
Yeah.
It's just all screwed up.
Yeah.
It's just so screwed up. I'm not bashing bowling because I love it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's provided me with a living for 100 years, and I still love it.
Yeah.
But it's screwed up. In the end, I don't know how to fix it. I wish I did.
That's my point, and that's why it's ridiculous to ban any bowling ball, he says.
Yeah. I mean, it's that you gotta, you're a product of the environment.
Mm-hmm.
That's what worked. If I can throw that ball and this guy can't, I'm gonna beat his brains out.
Sure.
Well, that's what you're there for.
Yeah.
That's what you're there for. Hey, if you can't use it, it's your tough shit.
Mm-hmm.
But and it just depends on which side you're on.
Sure.
But there's no way that to try to compete with the young guys, you can't do that anymore.
No.
My wife says, "Well, why don't you go bowl the Masters?" Why? So I get my ass handed to me? I ain't gonna do that. I just stay in my own little world. I could maybe beat the 50 guys once in a while. I'm happier than hell for that.
Yeah.
I'm happier than hell for that.
Sure.
But and I'm gonna still keep working on it. God willing, lets me live long enough.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's just so it's so convoluted sometimes. Man, and you talk to some of the smartest minds in the sport, that have been around for a long time, and a lot of these young guys really know their stuff, and it's like, it's like us in the 70s and 80s. You're product of the environment.
Yeah.
Just like they are. Yeah, and I cannot believe that, and we were talking about this today. They're taking plastic bowling balls and really weak reactive balls and sanding them and shoot 300 like it's nothing. We threw plastic balls too.
Yeah.
And it's on 30 to 35 mils of oil.
Right.
And when we threw them, it was, there was no way to tell how many there were. It was probably it's probably 8 or 9 or something. Who the hell knew?
Sure.
You just went out there and you threw it. Oh, the ball went this way. Well, I better move over here.
Yeah.
So, but I gotta say, it is fun.
Yeah.
This is still fun.
Oh, yeah.
As aggravating as it is sometimes, and all the other crap, and it's still a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
I give a shit what happens. I do, but
yeah. The first time you came on the show, we covered a lot of ground, and the second time was awesome because we had Tom Baker and Joe Hutchinson along for the ride, but you never got to that title match with Earl Anthony where he became the first.
The first to go over $1 million.
Tell us.
Well, it was funny because the year before. Excuse me. The year before, I just missed the finals. I was like 20. I think I was. You were the alternate or 26. One of the two. I can't remember. It's 40 years ago. But anyway,
like 81 then, right? Because his was.
Yeah, this would have been 1981. Excuse me. And so when I got done bowling the semifinals before they made a cut, and I told Joe, I said, Hutch, I said, I could win this next year. I said, I could win this next year. This whole thing's just like totally in my wheelhouse. I just got off to a slow start,
Yeah.
Well, anyway, then, bowl and, make the finals again. And I thought, well, I know I can get to the show. It's just everything was just right. You just had to look and you had confidence in the building. And I had the guy that used to have the radio, that used to do radio there. I'd go on with him, and I had a singing dog, So every Christmas I would call him, and my dog would sing a Christmas carol. So it was stupid, but I had a little bit of a following in Toledo. Then I got to know a lot of people and everything. So anyway, I make the finals, and I had a lot of people cheering for me, and that place was packed.
Sure.
Every night. It was just, standing room, and the place is 60 lanes wide, and it's full.
And this is the national championship, right?
Yeah. It was crazy. So anyway, so I end up making the show, and so Earl, when I bowled him, there was more people kind of rooting for me than they were for him. He was not happy about that whole thing, and so, but he's competitive. I'm not taking anything from it, other than I know he's pissed off because that usually doesn't happen. I'd say about the only time it's ever happened for me, But anyway, so I make the show, and there was Durbin, Dave Davis, and Steve Westberg. And so Davis got 20 titles. He's in the Hall of Fame. Durbin's in the Hall of Fame. He's won the Firestone every other year. And I gotta get to Earl. But so I go in the paddock to get my equipment to come out for practice, and a ball I used all week is gone.
Oh, jeez.
And I was in they used to have this. The Robbies used to have this case, and you could put 4 balls in a case. So I had 2 of those, and I had a double tote bag. Yeah, I knew where every ball was, so if I had to run in and out. So I opened up the case to get the ball. It's not there.
Oh no.
And I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. I said, where's this ball? So can't find it. Looking all over the place. So I had a roto-grip plastic ball, and then I had an angle. That I had 2 angles, the one that I had used the entire time, and then another one. Well, I had to use the other one, and the thumb didn't fit, and I screwed around with the thumb the whole time. The whole time on the show, I'm digging in there, sanding it, and all kinds of crap. I did swear a couple of times. I know where the swearing is. But when I got home, somebody goes, "Hey, did you drop an F-bomb?" I go, "Yeah, as a matter of fact, I did." So anyway, I got through the first match with Davis, and I finally got loose, and then things just kind of went my way. Like, I made everything. I made washouts and 4-9s and all kinds of crap. And Durbin was on like a 16 or 17 game winning streak on TV. And I beat him, and I got to bowl Earl. And so we had 4-7 the first shot. And he hit the 4-pin basically in the face, and I wrap it around a 7. And I still have, to this day, I have no idea how. And I'm like, holy shit! All of a sudden, well, then he Greek churches, and I thought, well, I'm going to have a chance to win this thing somewhere along the line, Well, then he got a double. The match is close. Then I finally got a double, and I thought, well, if I have a chance, I was going to switch balls, because it was just, the ball's sitting right there. I thought, well, if he gives me a chance, I'm going to switch. When am I going to get back to the national championship ever?
Right.
Probably never. Well, I wouldn't maybe probably never, but maybe never.
Yeah.
So if I'm gonna go down with the ship, I'm gonna go down swinging.
Yeah.
And so anyway, he threw the first, when he let the first one go, I thought I was going to have the chance. As soon as he let it go, I thought, oh man, he threw that like shit. Excuse my friend. Threw that like shit, and the ball's just tumbling down there. And he takes the 5-10 off the ball.
Oh.
That was it. Then it didn't matter.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought I was going to have a good look at it, but it was great. It was really, and Merle and I got along really, really well. Yeah. In fact, they invited us to play golf at Inverness.
Okay.
Where they had, it was like right after they had the U.S. Open there, I think, that year. Oh. And anyway, and they had all these professional golfers. It was me and Earl for bowling, and I can't tell you how many professional golfers, Craig Stadler, all these guys were really, really good.
Yeah.
You know,
The wall.
and except for Curtis Strange, he was a horse's ass. So he won the U.S. Open twice. You know, then I went up to him and I told him, I said, you know, I introduced myself and I said, you know, I said, I really appreciate how good you guys are. I said, oh my God. I said, this, yeah, thanks. Oh, what do you mean? Yeah, thanks. You know, I mean, you know, screw you. You know, yeah, let's go bowl a couple of games for some money, asshole.
Right.
You know, excuse me. You know, but it was so much fun.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, Bob Rakoff, God rest his soul, the guy that was, you know, that was in charge of the place. Yeah, oh God, we had a blast. You know, it was like a 3 or 4 day thing. You know, in the middle of summer. You know. But yeah, I had a lot of fun with Earl.
Yeah.
Oh God, he's a good guy. He's a really good guy.
Yeah.
but yeah, it was, you know, if I'm going to lose to somebody, might as well you lose to the best left-hander that ever lived.
Yeah.
Or close to it anyway.
Or
you know, I got a couple of buddies of mine that said, well, you know, yeah, because I lost to Earl one other time. I lost the second show I ever made. I lost to him in Cleveland.
okay.
You know. You know, PBA never beat Earl Anthony. Yeah, okay.
A lot of people lose to Earl Anthony.
Yeah. He's only the greatest thing that ever lived.
Right.
You know, sorry. At least I was in the same building with him for a while.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, it was fun.
Yeah. So knowing that you've seen the first episode of Born to Bowl, but not the second, I'm going to try and phrase this in a way that doesn't, you know, spoil much of it for you, but also we get some
You can spoil it.
This is a challenge that I face. Oh, and this thing is, my goodness, why is this unplugging?
I read the spoilers for The Bold and the Beautiful, so you know,
okay.
You know, that's the truth.
Yeah. Well, you can.
How stupid is that? Oh my God!
So
my wife goes, you want to watch The Bold and the Beautiful? Yeah, all right, why not? You know, so now I'm into it. You know, I'm like, I gotta read the spoilers to see what's going on. So yeah, spoil away. I don't give a shit.
All right. So I won't tell you exactly what happens, but we get an inside look at some of the chatter, the jawing back. That we get. You know.
I've heard about that. Yeah.
And you don't see on television. I mean, was that for? Look at this. Yeah, do you have a face for radio? Yeah, you
shut up. Probably an idiotic friend of mine.
No, that's nothing at all. But you know, we see a lot of and hear some of that jawing back and forth. And I mean, I appreciate seeing that. I know a lot of people appreciate seeing that. Maybe some of the players don't appreciate seeing that, and you know, maybe those in charge of the PBA don't appreciate seing it.
Yeah,
it's there. It's there.
Yeah,
Here's my question. I'm sure this isn't a new thing. I'm sure you guys, you know, back in 90s, 80s, 70s did the same thing.
Oh yeah.
But how effective is it? Does it work? Do you get inside other people's heads that way?
Well, it happened a lot. I mean, not to me. I just ignored it. So, because Norm Duke did that, tried to do that to me a couple of times. Yeah. And I'm like, hey, you know, I'm just BSing over here. Yeah, thanks. But anyway, yeah, I mean, there were knock down, drag out arguments. I mean, you know, guys going after each other, and you know, especially in the 80s, you know, when you had all these guys and the money was decent, and you know, they went after each other. You know, but I mean, there were times where they would go after each other, and then you'd see them sitting down at dinner together.
Sure.
You know, but yeah, I mean, that's nothing new.
Yep.
That's nothing new, and probably the F-bombs and all the other stuff was probably more prevalent back in the 80s, and you know, because you don't have social media and all the other stuff, and
sure,
you know that you know, I mean, a lot of the good stuff was, hey, you know, they would be like rumors, you know. Well, he told Joe Blow to go, you know, and it's like, oh yeah, he was going to beat the shit out of him, and it's like, So, but it was actually kind of fun, I mean, but there were guys that they didn't like each other at all.
Yeah.
There were, I off the top of my head, I can't think of their names, but there was guys that like, yeah, I hate that song, that type of deal. So,
yeah.
But I got friends like that I hate.
And would they say the same about you, that you're friends?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. Here, Jay Santos, who's one of our regular viewers. Actually, how cantankerous was Marshall Holman? I hear nothing but bad things. And it's funny, I'll let you answer that because you were there, but I should mention I did talk to Marshall pretty early in the run, and he did talk about some of that stuff too. But go ahead. What are your memories from how Marshall was?
Well, he was bowling with him was a lot easier than bowling next to him.
Okay.
And I mean, obviously he was a pain in the ass, at times. But I'll tell you what, I love Marshall. I had so much fun with him and all that stuff. And they would say, but I crossed with him, boy, I don't know how many times. But bowling next to him or bowling like a couple pairs away from him, oh man, he could be brutal. He could be absolutely brutal. But a lot of times what would happen too is that he would be getting crap from the people that were there.
Yeah.
And he could hear the talk in the back and and all that stuff like that. I mean, I remember in Milwaukee, Hutch went after a guy. I mean, not physically, but he went after a guy because he was busting. I mean, he's here trying to make a living. Yeah. That this is his living. What are you doing? I mean, if you don't like the guy, that's one thing. That's fine. Not everybody was liked, but don't interrupt the guy while he's trying to make a living.
Yeah.
Regardless of what you think of him.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, but he was, I mean, he kicked the foul line out during the doubles, and it's just oh God, it was crazy. But one time I playing golf with him,
Mm-hmm.
It's me, him, and Tony Westlake, and I can't remember who the other person was, but anyway, whoever it was took a divot.
Okay.
And then they just hopped in the car and took off, and he was, hey, get your ass back here and put that in there, this isn't yours. You don't damage other people's property. And this is a guy that's busting racks, kicking out foul lights, throwing shit through the wall. It's like, I'm like, oh, okay, I see. Oh, great. But he's so much fun. He's really funny.
Yeah,
he's really a good guy. I wish he would do some of these shows.
Right, Jay was saying.
I wish he would do some of these shows. I did talk to him. Probably a couple of months ago, and I asked him if he even got a mention or an invite to try out for it. And he said no. He said he'd love to do it. Obviously, he was good at it.
Yeah,
he's really good at it. I enjoy listening to him. He was funny. And sometimes when he got mad, and it was while he was cooling off and he was still mad, when he was having his tantrums, then he'd say something like really funny, and it's kind of got to break the ice over everything. But oh, geez, yeah, he was a good guy.
All right. Well, hey, we're past an hour now, and I know you're giving your voice everything it's got. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Here, take a listen to this, and we'll go on from here.
Let's go off the sheet. Challenge a bowler to appear on a future episode.
I would like to challenge Will Madison.
I would say Diana Zavulova.
The better Russo, Lauren Russo.
We're looking for anyone who has a passion for the sport and a unique story to tell.
I think the first.
I didn't have any sound. I couldn't hear it.
Oh, you couldn't hear it. It's off the sheet where you challenge someone else to be on a future episode. You gave one of the great off the sheet challenges your first time on because you challenged Paul Wolf, and he came on, and he's fantastic.
Oh yeah, Paul's great.
Fantastic interview. You know, I've hit him up for comments on other folks, you know, since then. Oh, what a guy. So thank you for that.
Paul's great. Yeah. He's great. Known him for a long time.
Yeah. So who else you got? Who else do you think?
Marlis Tapp.
Marlis Tapp. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Get her on here. What's that?
Is she watching? Can she hear this?
No.
No?
No. I got earphones in, so she can't hear it.
Okay. All right.
Hey, Marlis, you're going to be on here one day. No, she's not. Never mind. Let's get Jimmy Hoffa.
I'll tell you what. You know what? What she just said is exactly what Gina has said every time I've told her, hey, you should come on the show. So
yeah.
if we could get those two on together, oh my
God.
God.
Yeah, you got to get her on.
See, ask her. If Gina would do it, would you do it?
Hey, Marlis, if Gina would do it, would you do it with her? Gina. Yeah.
Okay. There you go. Gina, the ball is in your court.
Yeah, there you go. Oh, wait, I think Gina, I don't know if Gina's going to be at the Hall of Fame dinner or not.
Yeah, not sure.
Oh.
Not sure.
So,
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The other one, Wendy McPherson.
Okay. And
get her on here.
I've never met Wendy, but of course I've seen her bowl and I've heard interviews she's done with Len Nicholson. What should we know about Wendy?
Oh, geez, what a well, number one, she's a terrific talent.
Yeah.
And number two, she's a troublemaker. So other than you know, so take your pick.
And never the two shall meet.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, after she won in Japan, and well, she won a lot of them over there. They threw her out of the country. But anyway, they did. I'm serious. Anyway, so she shot 300 in the championship match, and if she, you know, I don't know what the prize money was, but if you did that, it was $100,000.
Oh.
So anyway, when she came back from Japan, she actually flew here and spent time with us before she went home.
Okay.
So anyway, we're sitting at a restaurant eating, and she opens up her purse, and she hands us, you know, she pulls this thing out that looks like a candy bar, you know.
Okay.
And so she goes, open it up. And so I open it up, and it's money. And I said, what the hell is this? She goes, $1,000. And then she goes, she's got a whole stack of them in her purse, you know.
Gosh.
And it's like, well, because maybe I shouldn't even be telling the story. But anyway, but that
makes it a good one.
That's the only way that she could get that money out of the country.
Okay.
And so I said, how many of those you got? She goes, I don't know, 15 of them or something. I don't know. She was like $10,000. Well, what are you doing here? We're just here, you know. Oh, God. But anyway, yeah, well, she's a troublemaker.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I stay with her when I go to Vegas. I can't stand it.
Keep going back.
Yeah, I keep going back. Well, I figure one of these days she's gonna get straightened out. You know, and I don't want to get in any trouble. You know.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, Wendy would be great. Wendy would be great.
Good times. Yeah. Dana says, great show. Tapper, we will see you soon, buddy. I'll see you both.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, we'll see you next month.
Dana, if you're going
or month and a half, whatever the hell it is.
50. Yeah. Fun interview. See, this is great. I love this stuff. No,
yeah, it's fun. It's a lot of fun.
It's awesome. And I appreciate you doing it. I know that you're maybe not 100% as far as the voice is concerned, but it was certainly worth it for me if that's any
kind of this is always fun.
Yeah.
This is always fun.
We're going back on this weekend, as I mentioned. National Collegiate Club Championships will be in Rockford, Illinois. Don Carter Lane's live streaming March 28th and 29th. So be sure and check that out. And then our next interview is coming up on Wednesday, April 8th. And this is a gentleman who actually came up to me this week and said, hey, can I be on the show? And, you know, he's not... I don't know is he well known. He might be well known around here, but he's a league bowler. His name is Ambrose Lucas, and folks around here might know him as Emerson because that's his birth name. He's going by his middle name nowadays, but you can kind of see our team here. And Emerson Ambrose started about 5 years ago, and his dad, who is to my right as you look at this picture, convinced him to be part of our team. And 5 years later, he just keeps chugging along. I bet he'll love that I'm putting up this picture of him. But
that looks wow, yeah, that looks like a rough night.
Yeah, he asked to be on the show, and I said, of course. Yeah, so Wednesday, April 8th, 7 p.m. Central, he will be here on Bowling with the Fed.
Will that be live from the mental institution, or
well, I mean, we're talking about maybe doing it here at the house, so course of peace.
Right? Hide the silverware.
Yeah. No, but this has been a blast, Charlie.
Tell him I'm only joking.
Yeah, he's good like that. But
okay.
Appreciate your time as always, and
you're very welcome.
We'll figure out how to do something.
We'll see you in Minnesota. You coming to Minnesota, aren't you?
Absolutely. Wouldn't miss it.
Right,
I won't be there for the whole time, but I'll get there enough. It's only 90 minutes from here, so.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah,
that's not bad.
The tours are never closer than that.
Yeah, just shoot me a message. Let me know when you're in town.
You got it. Will do.
All right, you got it, man.
All right. Well, everybody, thanks so much for watching. Always appreciated, and we will see you this week.
Thank you for watching Bowling with the Fef. Pound the like button and subscribe button. It's the easiest way to support the channel, and it's free. Bowling with the Fef is brought to you by Chip Magnet. Raise your snack standards.
Bullwinkle's in Eau Claire, Wisconsin, the official bowling center of Bowling with the Fef. Jerry's Score More Pro Shop, the Eau Claire area's leader in bowling products and services since 1988, and Visionary Video Hub, video with impact.
Email bowlingwiththefef@yahoo.com with questions or to appear on the show. You can also reach out on your favorite social media platform.